In 1939, a farmer's field in eastern England gave up a secret buried for 1,300 years, a 90-foot ship filled with gold, weapons, and silver spoons from Constantinople. The man buried inside was probably a king, and the world he lived in looks almost exactly like the one described in the oldest epic poem in the English language. To understand what that buried treasure means, we need to understand the world that created it. The Anglo-Saxons did not live in an isolated England. They belonged to a connected North Sea world, a maritime warrior culture spanning Scandinavia, the Low Countries, and the British Isles. Beowulf, the poem, is set in Denmark, not England. The people who buried the Sutton Hoo treasure in East Anglia were part of this same network. Objects in the grave came from Merovingian Gaul, the Frankish kingdom covering modern France, and from Byzantium, the Eastern Roman Empire centered on Constantinople, today's Istanbul. The 1939 excavation revealed the outline of a massive ship preserved as a shadow in the sand, with a burial chamber at its center. The probable occupant, Raedwald, king of East Anglia, who died around 627. The contents were astonishing: an iconic helmet with a face mask design, a pattern-welded sword and mail shirt, a ceremonial scepter, and a gold and garnet purse lid. 2 Byzantine silver spoons inscribed with the names Saulos and Paulos. 37 Merovingian gold coins, every one a different denomination. Now consider the poem Beowulf. It describes the same kind of world: a warrior king in his great hall, surrounded by his war band, distributing treasure, fighting monsters. The poem is set in Scandinavia and mixes pagan action with Christian narration. The parallels are striking. Beowulf opens with a ship burial. Its heroes wear helmets and carry swords. Its hall, Heorot, is the center of civilization. Its dragon sleeps on a hoard of gold. The poem and the burial are independent witnesses to the same culture, but the most revealing detail isn't the gold or the weapons. It's what those objects were for. And this is where the Anglo-Saxon world challenges everything we assume about wealth. Those 37 Merovingian gold coins are all different denominations. They were never meant to be spent. The Byzantine silver spoons were luxury display objects, not tableware for daily use. These things were accumulated, displayed, and then buried in the ground forever. Compare this to the dragon in Beowulf, who sleeps on a vast hoard of gold with absolutely no transactional purpose. The gold just sits there. This reveals a fundamentally different relationship with wealth, call it treasure logic versus economic logic. In economic logic, objects circulate. You exchange coins for goods. Goods move to new owners. The cycle continues. In treasure logic, objects are acquired, accumulated, displayed to project power, given as gifts to bind warriors' loyalty, or buried with the dead. They exit circulation permanently. Anglo-Saxon warrior culture ran on treasure logic. Hoarding wasn't greed, it was governance. A lord who gave treasure earned loyalty. A lord who stopped giving lost his war band. The center of this treasure system was the drinking hall. In Beowulf, the Great Hall Heorot isn't just a building, it's civilization itself. The Venerable Bede, an 8th century monk, captured this with a famous metaphor. Imagine a sparrow flying from the dark cold outside through a warm firelit hall and back out into the darkness on the other side. Human life is that brief passage through the warmth. The hall was also the political center of the comitatus, a lord's sworn war band, warriors bound by loyalty and gift exchange. The lord sat on his high seat. His warriors lined the mead benches. Treasure changed hands. Oaths were sworn. Outside the hall walls, monsters, chaos, the unknown. Inside, order, feasting, loyalty, light. Here's where it gets complicated. Sutton Hoo is a pagan-style burial, grave goods packed around the body for use in the afterlife. But those 2 silver spoons are inscribed Saulos and Paulos. a direct reference to the conversion of St. Paul. Beowulf tells stories of pagan warriors and fate, the Anglo-Saxon concept of weird, but its narrator is a Christian who references God and creation. Neither source is purely one thing. King Raedwald himself reportedly hedged his bets. He maintained both a Christian altar and a pagan one in the same temple. This is the signature of a transitional moment. The early 7th century, when Christianity was arriving in Anglo-Saxon England but had not yet displaced older practices, two worlds coexisting in the same grave, the same poem, the same king. So what do a poem and a burial tell us when we read them together? Right? They tell us something neither could say alone. When we read Beowulf, we are not reading fantasy. We are reading a dramatized version of the world that produced Sutton Hoo. When we look at the Sutton Hoo treasure, we are seeing the material reality behind the poem. Together, they reveal a culture where wealth was power made visible, the whole was the center of the universe, and an old world of gods and monsters was slowly, unevenly giving way to a new one. Two sources, one world, literature and archaeology confirming each other across 13 centuries of silence. The dragon in Beowulf sleeps on gold it will never spend. The coins in Raedwald's grave were never meant to buy anything. Treasure hoarding was not primitive. It was a political technology. Consider what treasure means in your own culture. Our relationship with wealth may not be so different from the dragons.